Next curve.
Hi, everyone. This is Leonard Lee, Executive Analyst with Next Curve. Welcome to the Rethink Podcast and a review of the much vaunted Vision Pro, which is Apple's XR headset, which started to ship a little over a week ago on the 2nd of February, 2024. And in this review, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the things that you can get from the hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews, unboxings, and day in a life videos and articles out there. If you want to find out about the Vision Pro, find out about its specs and all the basics, just go to the Apple website. Rather, I will share what I felt exceeded and fell short of my expectations from the first week using the Vision Pro. So let's start off with what exceeded expectations. Number one, the display and visual quality. Apple shot for photorealism with the Vision Pro, and for the most part, Apple achieved this technical goal thanks to its 4K per eye micro OLED displays. So much so that it exposed the limitations of content, pushing us to capture and consume higher quality and higher fidelity content. 4K video looks notably better on the Vision Pro, though the 1080p upscaling is also extremely good. Number two, intuitive user interface and experience. The learning curve is short and easy. Most of you will get used to the gaze and gesture control interface as you go through the calibration process. Those of you who are used to the Apple OS navigation and interface languages will find that you will become pretty fluent at using the Vision Pro in no time. The user interface is very responsive. I would argue that you can gaze and tap faster than you can point and click once you get used to it. And I also noticed that in several applications, you can enact gestures that mirror multi-touch gestures such as long press or even double tap. And I think this is just the beginning for gaze and tap. Number three, spatial video and photos. The quality and experience are better than I expected, and even the spatial video taken on my iPhone 15 Pro came out really well. The depth and fidelity of the media surprisingly good. And as I've written in an article on WWDC 2023 last year, when Vision Pro was unveiled, I shared that I thought that this was the killer application for the Vision Pro, and that it was sort of a hint at Apple's plans for the future of media, including social media. Now, number four, immersive content, especially the environments, were exceptional and are exceptional, and are largely underrepresented in the videos and marketing materials that you see on the web or what have you. The spatial quality of these experiences explain truly why the Vision Pro is what it is, which is really an immersive reality device versus a virtual reality device. More than enough applications and content are available for the Vision Pro. You really, frankly, don't need millions of apps. I mean, do you use millions of apps on your smartphone? So let's talk about productivity for a moment. Microsoft has native versions of Word, PowerPoint, and Excel available. And there are many iPad versions of the applications for productivity and everything else that work surprisingly well on the Vision Pro. And, you're not going to be starved for apps that really matter to you for the most part, okay? Yeah, sure, there are some gaps, but I found that the photos and the Apple TV Plus apps are really the ones that I went back to the most and really drove the bulk of the engagement I had with the Vision Pro over the course of more than a week. The Vision Pro ends up being more engaging and more useful than I had expected. And a lot of that is attributed to the fact that if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you set yourself up in the Vision Pro, you're just going to have a lot of your content, a lot of the applications that you use available to you. And that just really ups the game in terms of the utility of the device. Now let's talk about what fell short of expectations. Probably most prominently was the pass-through quality, which was lower than expected. I frankly thought it was going to be great, but it's just okay, but not fantastic as it had been represented. In a lot of their marketing materials, as well as some of the opinings of folks who had early access to the device. And this, I think, is largely due to the what seems to be a lower res camera feed and to the foveated rendering. And it seems that the Vision Pro struggles processing images from the forward-facing camera and achieving that low latency needed to minimize these motion artifacts that you encounter, especially, when light conditions are low or dim. This is really probably the biggest letdown for me. Now, the other thing that fell short of expectations was the solo knit band, which is prone to causing face fatigue, especially during sessions more than an hour long, especially if you don't fit it properly or optimally around your head. And it takes a bit of tweaking, but I managed to get it fitting comfortably and somehow wore the Vision Pro with the solo knit band for more than 6 hours, which is pretty incredible. But anyway, the other thing that really fell short of expectations was the lens glare that you occasionally encounter, especially when you're in a high contrast scene with a dark background. And this is due to the pancake lenses. So we're dealing with physics here, right? But I expected that the fitted light seal would make this a non-issue, but no such luck. Now, the other thing is the field of view was more narrow than expected. And after a while, it does feel like you're viewing things through goggles. And while, this doesn't really detract from the visual impressiveness of the Vision Pro, but you do notice it after a while. And then again, you forget. So, but it is a little bit annoying. The final thing that fell short of expectations was sharing. It's challenging, much like the iPad. And the Vision Pro does have a guest mode that allows you to have someone other than the account holder to use the device. You can limit the apps that the guest can use or give them full access. And I suppose a family can create a shared account for the Vision Pro and then add it to their family plan as a workaround. But regardless, sharing is not convenient. And so, in conclusion, I think that this is a groundbreaking product that is much bigger than the device. And there's been, in my opinion, way too much focus on the device itself and not on the implications of what Vision Pro is part of in the grander scheme of Apple's plans, if you will. And having experienced and used the Vision Pro for a week, I can see how it can provide Apple with many vectors to make spatial computing and immersive reality disruptive forces that could bring about, let's call it a Pixar moment for XR communications and media. And I think that's a big deal. And putting a focus on reality rather than fantasy and metaverse is what Apple needed to do to make XR meaningful to most of us. And the Vision Pro is, quite frankly, a dazzling step toward realizing this ambition and purpose. So, just give it a try. See for yourself. See if it's worth the $3,500. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you're a vendor or end user who would like to get access to my unpublished analysis and thoughts, feel free to reach out and set up consulting services with NextCurve. And please like, share, and subscribe to the NextCurve YouTube channel and Rethink podcast. Also, ring that bell so that you'll be notified when new episodes become available. Also, subscribe to the NextCurve research portal at www.next-curve.com for the tech and industry insights that matter. We'll see you next time.